Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites. How we doing today? We all right? We good? You know, I hate that sometimes these phones make it nearly impossible to write a website because it wants to correct what you're doing. And it's like, come on now. Okay. We're going to continue our thought. I got my new Mac Studio set up, so I'm happy about that. It transferred perfectly. Smooth, easy. That's actually one of the things I like about Mac. It's not an awkward transfer. You don't like Apple products no more? No, I actually like Apple stuff. Been a PC girl the whole time, but Apple's got actually better productivity. The apps and stuff is better for it. I have to say, you know what? I'm not going to do it. Do me a favor and hit the like button when you come in. I know it ain't but a few of you in here. Because for whatever reason, this topic is not popular. But these are the topics that need to be discussed. It's not always about the sensational viral clips. Those are fine. But I guess we don't want to talk about the things that's keeping us as a community back. That's why I changed the name of it. Not upholding the gynocracy, but keeping the community broken. We are broken. And a lot of us don't understand why we can't become unbroken. For as much knowledge as we gain, for as much information as we uncover, discover, think about, and all of that, we wonder why we can't get out. Why can't we get out, though? If we understand the issues with the gynocracy, why can't we break it? If we understand that there are problems, that having a father outside of the home is a problem, and single motherhood is a problem, and thought culture is a problem, and all of these things, then why can't we get out? And what we haven't understood is everything that practically keeps us in. Because, see, we can talk about it from this distant, almost this external, existential kind of, like it's not really in your life every day. And as long as we keep looking at hyenas or whatever name we put to it, it don't matter the name that you put to it. As long as we keep thinking about it and in an external way, as if we are outside of, or we exist or operate outside of the effects of that, then we will not get out, because we'll look at it and think this is only something for the internet. This is only something I'm listening to because I like this or I like that, or it's entertaining or whatever. Even though I try to be somewhat entertaining with what I do, because I know us and we got to be entertained some, which I'm fine with. I'm not saying nothing wrong with it. It's myself included. There's got to be a level of interest as well as the edification. Thank you, Chano, for your contribution, sweethearts. I think this series is a perfect definition of the psychosomatic whole of the gynocracy. The sisterhood is 100% against this mapping of their core belief system. KS is smiling from heaven at you. Thank you so much, not only for your contribution, but for your, particularly you, Chano, for you've always demonstrated a deeper understanding of where I be going with stuff. And I actually appreciate that. And many of you do. Many of you do. I'm not trying to exclude anybody. But Chano consistently hits the nail on the head of where I'm going with it. Because I'm definitely referring to the psychological warfare. So thank you. Thank you so much. Barry Little said the truth is never popular, but it must be told for us to thrive and advance. This is true. And thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you. Frank said these are hard conversations, regardless of the amount of people who wish to listen. And this is true. And thank you so much, Frank. Thank you so much. Let me sit back a little bit because I really want to get comfortable. Put my foot. All right, here we go. All right. Sometimes I sit on my feet. Y'all, sometimes y'all don't know that. I'll be sitting on my feet. Sometimes I'll be in this chair crisscross applesauce. Don't let it fool you. But I chose to break down sign language because over the weekend, I realized how devastating it has been as a brainwash since we were children. We've been getting sign language utilized against us in so many various ways as children at every stage in our lives. And it has extended from our family members on to different Black women and sometimes Black men that we've encountered just in the world. And you wonder, And all that I can really do is call it what it is. It's psychological warfare. It's a psyop. Sign language is not just this quirky thing that we noticed. This is why I'm examining it. Psychological warfare is real. Why do you think so many Black women be trying to go into psychology, have gone into the fields of psychology? Because, see, some of them are trying to fix themselves because they're broken. But some of them are learning what they need to learn in order to keep going with the psyop from a more educated standpoint, instead of the going with just what they was taught in their life, but now utilizing it more expertly, understanding how they can talk to people, how they can gaslight people, how they can get around the conversation in a real slick way and use various different psychological tricks on unsuspecting people who may not have that education or that expertise. So they may not understand exactly what is being said to them or why it's being said in a particular way, or why it's being done. It's not a mistake that these women go into psychology. They're not just trying to go into a field that they think will make money. They're going into fields that uphold the brokenness and the dysfunction of the community. We cannot dismiss, disregard, or downplay the extreme importance to the sisterhood to maintain it. It's a programming that they are not going to let go of because they perceive themselves to benefit out of it some type of way. So they are not willing to break the hold. Thank you, Esquire Sports. I think of Tony Soprano and Dr. Melfi when it comes to talk therapy. They go to therapy to figure out how to further manipulate and utilizing it as a weapon. Notice how they speak the last 5 years. Exactly. So this is why today we're going over the second part of the psyop, the insult. The insult. The insult is an important factor. It goes right along with the shame. The regular definition of insult is to speak to or treat with disrespect or scornful abuse. A disrespectful or scornfully abusive remark or action. And to insult means to speak to or to treat with disrespect or scornful abuse. A disrespectful or scornfully abusive remark or action. Okay? So insults are based and rooted in negative energy. Let's start there. To try to disrespect or to abuse someone. Okay? I want to share something. I'm going to share my screen a little bit. That's what I'm going to do. Hold on. I didn't realize that I would run into this because it's new, so I'm having to give it different permissions, and they want me to quit the browser. I'm not going to do that. I'll just read it to you. Insults and put downs can damage your self-confidence and self-esteem. They can lead to feelings of isolation, alienation, anger, anxiety, and depression. Insults can be physical or verbal. Verbal insults are often motivated by anger surrounding issues of status insecurity. Insults are used to reduce the social status of the recipient and raise the relative status of the insulter. Insults are belittling and communicate a perspective of power and rank looking downward. Okay. Now, these are the different kinds and purposes of insults. The purpose of a put down is to reduce someone else in an imaginary status hierarchy. An imaginary status hierarchy. So it is hardly surprising that insults will often refer to a person's social status in terms of ancestry, lack of prestige, or membership in a despised group. Otherwise, the content of insults across the ages is monotonously predictable. Many insults feature a sexual component, may refer to sexual organs, or bring up shameful or ineffectual sexual behavior. This is common with the hyena as they attack particularly men's sexuality or sexual prowess or perceived sexual prowess. They real quick to call a black man homosexual or to say that his eggplant is small or he can't do it right or something like that. So usually they like to attack men from a sexual standpoint to try to make him feel less than as a man, to insult his manhood at its core. Because even though a man's sexual abilities, sex organs, or his sexual prowess is not the totality of his manhood, it's got a lot to do with how he feels about himself in that area. So men who know that they're well endowed and that they have, they're good in bed and stuff like that, have a certain kind of confidence. Like, okay, if we get right down to it, I know what I can do. I know what I got. I know what I'm made of in that bedroom. Sometimes there are men who know it's not really going down like that. And so he may have issues with self-confidence in that area. But when the hyena is insulting him, she doesn't know that one way or the other. She doesn't know whether or not he's confident or not, or what he can do or what he can't do, especially if she's never slept with that man. But the insult is there nevertheless. She's gonna insult it nevertheless. Just in case that is an insecure spot for him. Just in case that is something that would push his button. Just in case that the insult may ring true on some level, she's waiting on it to do that. To belittle. Okay. In addition to status and sexuality, insults inflict shame. Now, that's why I say it's an important factor, because that insult comes between shame and guilt. Because you would think that guilt and shame, if there's a straight line between it, but not when you're in a psyop, not when you are committing psychological warfare. You got to add other ingredients that bolster the effect. So shame is here mentioned. So in addition to status and sexuality, insults inflict shame by mentioning unappealing traits, fatness or shortness, baldness, spottiness, or diseases. Another way of taking a person down is by questioning their intelligence or their general mental competence. For insult purposes, recipients are invariably stupid or crazy. The pecking order logic of insults means that if the recipient is shamed, then the insulter rises in status relative to the victim. The insulter is the one doing the pecking rather than getting pecked. Not all insults are equal, of course. Some pecks miss the mark and have no impact upon relative status. So, how many of you have been getting insulted since you were a child about whatever? I used to get insulted for my intelligence. I used to get called stupid all the time. Stupid, crazy, dumb. Something that I'm not. Yet that was the thing to tell me that I was dumb, that I could not learn, that I could not comprehend things. It's ironic because the person that was doing it to me is the one that can't comprehend anything. But I was told consistently by certain individuals that I was stupid. Now, the effect that it had was that I strived to always have information because I didn't want to be stupid. Stupidity to me is like the bane of existences. Like I hate it. I hate stupidity, especially willful stupidity. Ignorance is one thing. I don't like willful ignorance or willful stupidity. Like I don't. The insults. Okay. You're dumb. You're ugly. You weird. Nobody likes you. You're too short. Oh, you're too tall. Your nose is too big. Your lips are too big. You pop at it. You got big eyes. You got a water head. You got big feet. Whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter whether it's actually true. It's always going to be utilized against you. Always utilized against you. Always positioned as a negative to you. Any personality trait. You might not have had no insecurity about that. You may not have had an insecurity about your intelligence level. You might actually been quite comfortable with it, but it keep getting pointed out in a negative way. You're being insulted to keep you down, take you down a few notches. How many black men get insulted on their sexuality, on what kind of money they may or may not be making, what kind of job they may or may not hold? You know what I'm saying? Whether or not he corny, whether he a lame, whether he, swagged out, whatever he is. And then if you meet all of the little so-called criteria, then you're gonna be abusive, or you're something else. Something else wrong with you. And this is consistent. It's not only just from one area. This is a consistent thing that you run into with any member of the sisterhood, whether you know them or not. I have had so many hyenas come in my chat, come in my comments, try to critique my content. And they go right in with the insults. They look better than me. How am I talking what I'm talking because I'm ugly? I'm pandering to the men because I'm ugly, so I want them to like me, but no matter how much I pander to them, they're not going to like me, and I'm still going to be ugly. And do you understand? See, it's not just reserved for men, from the gynocracy to the men. I have had maggles. I have had male hyenas critique my content and then talk about me as a person. Not my content, not the points that I'm making to refute them or to disagree with them. But no. They do the same thing that they female hyena counterparts do. Oh, she, you know what I'm saying? Well, she got that thing around her head. She pandering. She ugly. All while not being on camera. I don't know how you look. You look ugly. You look like you got calluses between your fingers and you ain't did a hard day's work, so we don't know where them calluses come from. That's what you sound like. You sound like the tip of your fingers is burnt because you study smoking roaches because you ain't got enough money to go get weed when you run out. That's how you sounding on the other end. These are the types of things that we talking about here. So, you know what? Let me get to the super chats. I'm going to go to commercial break, and then we're gonna be back because it's a lot here. It's a lot here. Thank you, Miss Lou Casely, for your continued support, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Thank you, Simon. Said so proud of you, Kendra D. Thank you so much, Simon. Thank you, Original Man. Said Michael B. Jordan gave an interviewer her karma for calling him corny as a kid. Right. Thank you, Top Boxes. That keyboard warriors always got something to say, but can never back it up with facts. They be keyboard warriors. And see, I'm not saying that. I'm not even saying that to get like sympathy or to be like a victim in it. Because I mean, my content is public. If somebody want to critique it or they want to say this and that, fine. Do what you got to do. Because I feel like if you ain't got haters, you ain't doing something right. But it's the psychology behind it. Then I'm trying to tell y'all why we don't get out. But after these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, brothers, I want to tell you about a website called blackmenszone.com. Now, Black Men's Zone is a site that specifically targets black men. It's a place where black men talk about issues that solely affect them. Now, at Black Men's Zone, the topics will range from news to society, sports, technology, business, food and recipes. Some brothers got to cook too. Gaming, and some of your brothers like doing some of that. Health and fitness, got to get your workout on. Music, movies, and many other topics. Now, there's not many forums around these days for black men, and because black men have to create them. Now, this particular website is more of a forum based, something simple, not social media. You can write what you need to write, say what you need to say, get on, get off pretty quick. But if you're interested, brothers, to at least go there, and I want you to check it out, engage in the topics, go to blackmenszone.com, sign up for an account, and get engaged in the conversation.
So we definitely want to follow those instructions. I have pinned the forum at the top of the chat, blackmenszone.com. Like he said, this is a forum specifically for black men to discuss a wide range of various different topics. So it's not just centered on relationships, women, and all of those sorts of things, but everything that affects men or that men want to talk about or like to talk about among themselves, right? So like he said, that could be technology, that could be gaming, that could be sports, that could be health. It could be anything. So if you are a black man looking for a place to just come to and think of sort of as a barbershop for black men, an online space, look no further than blackmenszone.com. All right. So I know I owe somebody a bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button. Bam, bam. You got to, All right. So we're actually going to get back to it. Okay. We're actually going to get back to it. Thank you so much. Original Man said the late Biz Marquis called it the vapors. Right. Thank you. And thank you, Steve, for the love and the contribution. Thank you so much. All right. So the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, saying this, because we're going to cover guilt and the need to be right. I don't know if y'all remember, got a whole chart with this stuff. Shame. All right. Insult, guilt, need to be right. Now, we're going to come back to this because this explains why she uses sign language, where some of that stuff is coming from. A lot of it is internal projection. It's projection, but we'll come back to that. So why does she use insults? Because despite her dysfunction around you, she always wants to be perceived as either better than she actually is, or she wants to be at least perceived as better than you. This is a road of dodging accountability, which we're going to get to. So like I said, despite her obvious dysfunction, despite her obvious foolishness that she's engaged in, despite all of that, she wants to be perceived as better than she actually is, or at minimum, to be better than you. She insults you regardless if the shame worked or not. Because what we got to understand is sign language is escalating. She'll move between them as needed. Okay, as needed. So she don't got to shame you first. She can insult you first. She can try to guilt you first, then go to the need to be right, then go to the insult, then go back to the shame, then go back to the guilt, then go back. See, she'll do it as needed. No particular order for her. But to do all four, she's escalating with you. The need to be right is usually the last card she plays because that's where she moves the goalposts. Because she needs to be right now. So she'll do any type of logical somersaults and try to get you to buy into it so she can be right. So she will insult you whether the shame worked or not, or whether she used it or not. In fact, if she shamed you first and she feel like you were properly chastened after she did that, then she really insults you. This is where we get adding insult to injury. Insult to injury. She's injured you with the shame. She puts the cherry on top with the insult. Make sure you really are, put back into your place. Make sure that you really understand the purpose of the insult is to make sure that the person she's insulting, which is you, understands that you are inferior to her in some way, shape, or form. And as long as she can establish some sort of superiority, whether that superiority is major or minor, or whether it is perceived or real, she believes that by establishing herself as better than you, that this insulates her from any criticisms that you have of her. Y'all following me so far? Because this is the logic in her mind. I'm going to tell you why it's so important for her to establish a hierarchy or a pecking order with you, where she's on top and you're beneath her. If you are, this is her thinking. Let me break it down for you. If you are inferior to her in any way, shape, or form, even if she makes it up, don't got to be true. If you are inferior to her, then you have no space and no room to criticize her. First, you got to become perfect. First, you got to overcome whatever slight, whatever flaw, whatever issue that she point out about you. You got to overcome that before you can come talk to her about what she's doing. You can't approach her until you achieve perfection. Now, the trick and the trap to get you gotcha is nobody's perfect. But the hyena insists that anybody that dares open their mouth to criticize her got to be on God level. You got to be perfect. You can't have any flaw that she can see or perceive or make up about you. None. So this is why they'll come to my channel. They'll come to Danika's channel. They'll come to Chantel's channel. They'll come to Shay Shardae's channel. They'll come to Reva's channel. They'll come to Iyanla's channel and try to say something, whatever it is they know or think they know about you, to disparage or insult you with it. What they don't understand is, I don't know about nobody else, but you can't insult me with no information I gave you. You can't make me feel no way about some information I told you. Because if I didn't want you to know about it, or I was ashamed of it, or whatever, I wouldn't have told you. I wouldn't have said it online. I wouldn't have got on a live stream and said it. You understand that? So in their mind, nothing that I say is valid because I'm a mammy. I'm black male identified. I do black male worship. I'm ugly. I'm older. You know, I'm this and that. Whatever it is they come up with, that's supposed to disqualify me from saying anything about them. When a man try to correct them, whatever it is they think they know about him, he's short, he's fat, he's ugly, you know, he this and that, he ain't got no money, he broke, he can't get no woman, he live with his mama, whether it's true or not, you understand? Doesn't have to be real. But she'll say it because she halfway thinks she funny. She not. A lot of hyenas not funny. And the other thing is that she's trying anything to take you down to make you back up and be like, well, maybe I can't talk. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because the way in which to combat that, if you're being insulted by a dirty, filthy back foot, that's so masculine you can't tell the difference between them and a male back foot. See, I ain't going back and forth with nobody that had that same lace front on for 3 months. I'm not arguing with nobody with more than one baby daddy and never a marriage. I'm not arguing with nobody. You understand me? This is why I argue back and forth with them. Your life in shambles, ma'am. You just mad because I done hit you where you live. I don't even know you. That's how you get out of that. That's how you circumvent the insult. 9 times out of 10, that you don't know them and they don't know you. So whether or not they said something that might be true, could have been true, they might have hit the button, they might not have. It don't matter. Because whatever it is they trying to insult you with usually don't have nothing to do with what you said. She's just looking for a way to not have any accountability to stop you from talking. That's the whole thing. Stop you from talking. Why is it important? Why is it important to stop you from talking? Thank you, Keith. Said a lie becomes a truth only if a person wants to believe it. Thank you, Professor. So I literally made a Facebook post about this abusive norms that come from this hyena culture this morning. Thank you so much. They are abusive. These are the queens of abuse and gaslighting. Thank you, Miss 39 Dina. Thank you, Damon. Said you've unleashed the Kraken on them. Yeah, see, this is what we got to do. This is what we got to do. This is how you circumvent the insult. First of all, you can't care. These are individuals whose lives are not only in shambles, but these are also individuals stuck in the lost value system. These are individuals that don't understand to any real degree just how pathetic they look to the rest of the world. This is this person. You get around the insult because it doesn't matter what they think. Because what they think about you doesn't have anything to do with what they're actually doing. This is the same, and these are the same individuals that are actively continuing to destroy anything that even looked like a healthy family unit in the Black community. These are individuals that share a brainwashed mindset that has continued to keep the community broken for nearly a century now. We're working past a half a century with this. These are individuals that are happy to make sure that Black healthy families are never formulated, that the community has failed beyond repair, that it could never be fixed, it could never be retrieved. These are the ones that have been working hand in hand and so-called carrying the water for white supremacy for nearly a century. We don't care what they think. We don't care. I don't care if they think that my clothes aren't expensive when they whole wardrobe come off of Chic, Me, and Sheen and Fashion Nova. Baby, we shopping at the same place. I just look better than you in it. Okay? And don't get me wrong, I like Sheen. I got a Sheen order on the way right now. They got some cute summer dresses and some nice little cardigans that I like. Okay? So don't get me wrong. I likes me a good Sheen order. But you're not going to try to talk down on what I'm doing when you doing the same thing or worse. Because make no mistake. Make no mistake. I can afford for myself all of the stuff that you go buy knockoffs of. All of them knockoffs that you buy, them knockoff Louis purses, bootleg Guess purses, fuchsia bottoms instead of red bottoms. Trust and believe I can afford them. I don't want them. Because what do that mean? What do it mean? Nothing. Nothing. Why does the hyena like to use money or the lack thereof as an insult? Y'all want to know why? It's a real simple answer. If you've been around, you probably can guess the answer. Put a 5 in the chat if you want me to say it. The reason that the hyena always go to what they think you can afford and what they think you can't afford and what kind of money that they think you got and what kind of money they don't think you got and try to use that to size you up and to disqualify you from a conversation is because they're here. What's at the top? They're stuck here in the lost value system where wealth doesn't have any detachment and it is not connected to their spirituality at all. Focuses on the accumulation and possession of what things they consider valuable. And what do hyenas consider valuable? Hyenas consider valuable anything that the white man told them was valuable. So the white man tell you Louis, Gucci, and Prada is valuable. That's why you think it's valuable. And that's why you think that if somebody got money, but they don't be buying into the brand, that they really don't have that money. When the reality is, it doesn't matter whether you believe anybody's got money or not. Now we understand where you are with money. You be struggling to have them couple of dollars and be trying to front like you got it, and you don't. We know broke when we see it. We know broken when we see it too. The reason that you remain broke, hyena, because the collective of hyenas is poor. Don't let they little so-called job fool you. Let's go there. Thank you, Keith. If these hyenas got a debilitating disease, what man gonna take care of them? None with any sense. Thank you so much. Thank you, Professor. Say you are better looking inside out over these hyenas. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. See, that don't bother me. That don't bother me. Some hyena coming in here talking about what I look like and what it don't matter. Good thing I ain't a lesbian. Because it don't matter to me what some chick think. Good thing I don't carpet munch. Don't matter to me what no hyena thinking, what no filthy backfoot is thinking. About what you worried about what I look like for anyway. I could look like the black monster from the Black Lagoon. What you worried about it for? The vast majority of these hyenas is broke. And the reason that they are broke is because they're broken. I'm going to repeat that. The majority of these hyenas are broke. And the reason why they will remain broke, and I do mean financially, is because they are broken spiritually. It's because they can't understand anything beyond the most basic things and what Zaddy tell them to understand. This is why they can't. This is why they avoid this wheel. They avoid that wheel. Keep telling y'all wealth and spirituality go hand in hand. They are nearly the same thing. They are nearly the same thing. I'll give you an example of the link between wealth and spirituality. If you want money, if you want to make money, you have to give it away first. Giving away money is charitable. Charitable acts are born out of your spiritual value. So you don't get money first, then give it. You give money first, then get it. It's like lighting a fireplace and you've only used kindling. You've only used kindling. And so kindling don't give you a big fire. It's just a starter. It just starts the fire. So you can't tell the fire, give me more heat and then I'll give you more wood. You got to give the wood first, then get more heat. Do we understand? So your wealth and your spiritual value is nearly one and the same thing. If you want something, you have to give it first. And then it gets multiplied. See, the Bible and the Quran and stuff like that, spiritual books tell you how to accumulate wealth. Oh, this Patreon level game. Giving gets it back tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000. The Creator already tell you that. See, people don't listen. They don't know what they're reading. They don't know what it say, what it really say. Told you how to get the wealth of this world. You want money, you want prosperity, you want abundance in this world, you have to start giving things. Give those things. And then you'll get them. I ain't even gonna do it. The rest of that has got to be Patreon. I might put that on Patreon. The rest of that thought. Suffice it to say that you are broke because you are broken. That is why when people fix their internal values, they start moving up in the world. They life change. They increase. They do more. They get more. They get better. The purpose of the sign language, the purpose of the psychological war that hyenas put us through is to keep us from doing that, to keep us from understanding the truth so that we can change our internal value so that we can actually do better. This is why we can't get out. They're gatekeeping that. And they shame or try to cancel or try to get rid of or try to silence any of us Black people that figure that out. And then we come to tell our people, because we love them, how to get out of that trap. That is when they come out in force to try to cancel and to silence. If I was on here talking about thotting and bopping and hair and makeup and nails and how to look ridiculous, I would never get a single ounce of pushback from the sisterhood, because I would be doing exactly what they want to be done and feel should be done, because it maintains foolishness and dysfunction and keeps the community broken. It keeps women focused on the wrong thing. Too focused on the outside, never focused on the inside. constantly want females to worry about the wrong thing. That is why, and I'm going to mention her name again, because I'm going to get to that. I may do it Thursday or Friday. I'm going to get to the reviewing Princella. That's why her rhetoric is so egregious. The reason why Princella's rhetoric is egregious is because it's a psyop on women to keep women in dysfunction. She's saying she's trying to free women and free their minds and make sure that they're not under any kind of brainwashing and patriarchal, brainwashing, things of that nature. But she's just giving them another form of enslavement. Just because you paint my chains pink don't mean they're not chains. And then myself and other women like me, the ones who have come before me, the ones who may come after me, the ones who are my peers now, they come and attack us. Say how we doing stuff wrong. And, we just making women, we hate them. We hate Black women, and we trying to make their life hard, and we trying to give them, false things, false beliefs, false things to hold on to that further entrap them and all that. No. Because I can't further entrap you when I tell you to look for the truth. The very thing that unlock you from a trap is the truth. In point of fact, the only thing that unlock you from a trap, especially these kinds of traps, is the truth. Because the trap is built on falsehoods of all kinds. So only truth of every kind can actually break the hold. And the hardest truth is the one that make you look inside of yourself and make you uncomfortable with you. The best and the most difficult truth is the one that makes you look inside of yourself and become uncomfortable with you. Because only then you get motivated for change. If you're comfortable, you won't get up. When you sit on a bed or sit on a couch and it's real comfortable, you don't want to get up. If you sit on a bed or sit on a couch, a chair or something that's hard and it's uncomfortable, you're trying to get up. Thank you, Shelton says, sad to say they don't believe in nothing but doing whatever they want to do. And to think these are the first teachers of our community, which is why the PSYOP is so dangerous. This is why we've encountered sign language since we were children. See, it didn't just happen when we got grown and discovered what it was. This is something that's been happening before we understood it, which is why it's been so effective. Thank you, Black Thought said they broke in for them fuchsia bottoms. You silly. Thank you, Wayne said they are broken and broke spiritually, mentally, monetarily, and physically with their lopsided lace fronts, wigs, BBLs, and paint store strength makeup. Thank you so much, Wall Street Tech. Say, here you go, lady. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. What it is, they worship materialism. They definitely do. Thank you, Kamar. Said 400 years of slavery and post-indoctrination halted our generational wealth. Yes, we all need money, but if it's the only tool of measure, we will be empty shells as folks of the Black diaspora. Thank you so very much for all of the contributions. I almost did not do this show today. I'm gonna tell you. Like, sometimes I don't know what emotion be happening. So that might be like her. And then do the show. I think I just be having to get the energy out. But this is why that sort of rhetoric of that individual is so egregious, because it's such a psychological trap. Trauma bonding with Black women. We got to stop doing that. The trauma bond is no good, no bueno. No bueno on the trauma bonds. It's not enough to acknowledge that we get traumatized. What you gonna do about it? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I almost for 2 milliseconds, almost, I almost for 2 milliseconds felt sorry for her. I did. When she was explaining her trauma, stuff she went through, and then listening to her tell that story. And two things almost made me feel sorry. The first thing is that you could hear that she wasn't over it. It had happened years ago and she wasn't over it. So that means you didn't do that work. You didn't do the right kind of work. And then the second thing that almost made me feel sorry was that I didn't hear no accountability in it. I heard none. I heard no self-accountability in any of it. Not a single sentence of, well, I got into that when I was in my 20s and stuff. But in hindsight, I probably overlooked a few red flags with that situation. And then when I ran into another situation, I was older, where I probably should have known a little bit better. I still made a similar mistake and got caught up again with some foolishness. Never did say what she did or how she got into that, or what was her role in it. See, we supposed to, I'm not. Just in the sunken place. Just keep us in the sunken place. Don't want to get out of it. Got that cup, baby? Going with that spoon on that cup. Let me get to these super chats. Thank you again, Chano. Say, give me more heat, then I'll give you more wood, said the hyena to the kindling. Sounds like an African proverb. It does. Thank you, Taylor. Said, thank you for telling the truth. Although I did not want to hear the truth, I needed to hear it so I can change. And this is a young lady. Thank you so much for taking the moment to hear it. Thank you for doing that. Thank you, Devon. So I've been saying for years that some of these female YouTubians that are against Black men work for the folks, the government, and they may. And thank you, Mad Peace. I'm always working, so I never get to see you live. But you called it months ago and said hyenas don't get that all you got to do is fix him an egg and cheese sandwich and he'll be straight. A man's happiness is simplicity. And this is true. Thank you so very much. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to wrap this up. Before I go, I want to see, did we get any cash apps? Want to see, did we get any of those? Thank you, Eric, for your contribution, and thank you, Wally, for your contribution as well. Thank you for your contribution over Cash App and through Super Chat. So what I want you to do is go to crimsoncure.com and pick up the book Reclaiming the Black Feminine, Lies of Feminism and Road to Recovery. Yes, it is still on sale at crimsoncure.com. You can get your physical copy. Also, you can go to Amazon to get the digital copy as well. Okay. All right. So jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. The sharing and the subscribing really helps because at this point, I'm not really in the algorithm. So I got some work to do to get back into the algorithm. So I greatly appreciate any liking, sharing, subscribing if you realize that you are not subscribed to the channel. All right. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.